Good morning. Welcome everyone who's signed on. I just went ahead and put up our MLS Quality Assurance Department, their phone number and extension there for you. You can also always reach out to them via email, mlsqa@har.com, MLSQ as in query or quality, which is what it stands for, quality assurance, mlsqa@har.com. So we're going to get started in just a second. I'll give everybody till 9:01 is usually when I like to officially start, because I know sometimes it takes everybody to get on, get their volume up, all that good stuff. And good morning. I see Betty said good morning, everyone. Good morning, Betty. Good morning, Fabiola. What we're talking about today, I didn't introduce myself yet. I'm sorry. My name is Christina Schaefer. I am an instructor and the social media manager for HAR. What we're going to be going through today is the client portal. Now we have this in our older platforms. Those of you maybe seasoned agents on this session that maybe used Tempo or Fusion, we had what they called the client gateway there. It's a very similar product to the client portal. The client portal, however, does have some really nice new things in it that we didn't have before. So we're going to be going through that today and checking out what you're setting up for your clients when you set up an auto email for your clients. So that's what we're going to be getting into today. So the first thing I want to just review with you really quick are settings before we get into going ahead and setting up a search and looking at the client portal. When you come into My Matrix up here at the top and you go down to My Information, or if you go to settings, you can access it there as well. There are some things here that you do want to take some time, and I'm not going to go through each of these with you today. Kind of go through that on your own. We also have videos that you can go check out to help you with that. But the header and footer, this header is what's used on the client portal. So it's really important that you make sure that this looks the way you want it to look for a client or customer to see. The email signature, in a little bit I'll show you a preview of what the email looks like that your clients will get whenever there are updates. Pardon me. This email signature is used every time, so make sure this is set up. By the way, you don't have to reinvent the wheel here. If you already have an email signature that you use in Gmail or Outlook or wherever, copy and paste it and put it in here. I copied and pasted mine from Outlook. I literally selected it all in Outlook, copied and pasted. Okay, I see somebody said the audio keeps going in and out. That might be my microphone placement. I'll try to keep that. Hopefully nobody else is experiencing that, but if you are, I'll try to stop moving so much. I talk with my hands and sometimes I hit the mic. Sorry about that. So lastly here, the portal profile. With the portal profile, this you'll see in a little while when we look at the client portal that there is, oh, perfect. Okay, so no audio problem for them. So Evangelina, you might want to just check your computer speakers and your computer settings there. Thank you guys for the feedback. Okay, so the portal profile, when we look at the client portal in just a little bit, you'll see a section called My Agent. If you see there, it says My Agent. And this My Agent section, this you can actually control what they see. So portal greeting, I copied and pasted my bio from har.com. You can choose if you want your listings to appear there. You can put a video on there. All you need to do that is copy and paste the YouTube URL. And lastly, your contact information. So we'll see what this looks like live a little bit later, but I want you guys to make sure that if you haven't come here to do this, My Matrix, My Information, go through and make sure this is all set up so you're not worried about what it looks like on your client or customer's end, okay? Another thing in settings before we get into the actual setting this up, and it's a very, very common question that I get from agents. How can I get notified when my client, makes notes on a property or favorites a property or whatever the case may be? Well, if you come up to My Matrix and go down to settings, you actually have in here portal notification settings, okay? If I click on that, now I can get an email or text message whenever, and I can choose, you know, if my client visits the portal, if they save a favorite, if they remove a favorite, mark a possibility, make notes, if they save a search, right? Or if they visit the portal for the first time. If somebody could message Betty, it looks like Betty can't hear us. If somebody could kind of reach out to her and let her know to make sure that she has her computer volume up. Okay, so visits the portal for the first time. So again, I can get an email notification, a text, or just a daily summary if maybe I don't want an email for everyone they favorite. But, you know, maybe overall just for the day I want a daily thing, you can do that. So this right here, very, very common question. Can I get notified? You absolutely can. So just come to My Matrix, go down to Settings, Portal Notification Settings, and then you can set that up there, okay? All right, so to use the client portal, the first thing you have to do is set up an auto email. Now, the very first Matrix Monday session that we did, we covered auto email. So somebody asked, Claudia asked, will these training videos be saved? If so, where can we find them? Yes, and going back to the very first one, the auto email, which was the first one we did, you can look in the Facebook, on our Facebook page in the videos section, you'll see a playlist called Matrix Mondays with all of the Matrix Mondays videos stored there. You can also find them on our YouTube channel, and today's will go there as well. So right after we finish this session, you'll be able to find the entire video recorded there in our videos section. Okay, so I'm going to go through auto email quickly because, like I said, we have covered that before. So if any of you are needing to review that, you can go back and watch that video. And you're welcome, Claudia. All right, so just quickly going through that to set it up. I'm going to go up to search. We're going to do a single family quick search. And I'm going to put in some criteria. In a previous Matrix Monday video, we did break down utilizing this quick search as well. So go back if you need some help with that. Again, today I'm just going to get through this quickly so I can show you the client portal. Alrighty, so in this case, let's say I'm looking in the League City geo-market area. So I'm just going to put League City in there. And let's say I'm looking in the $300,000 to $400,000 price range. So just a little review here. I would just need to put in 300-400 to do that. If you ever forget how to type in these numbers in the numeric fields, just hover your mouse over that question mark there, and it actually pops up a little information window there explaining, excuse me, how to use that. Okay, Anissa, I see your question. They can't, but they can create their own searches, so I'll get into that later as well. Alrighty, so I'm looking in the $300,000 to $400,000 price range, League City. I need a minimum of 4 bedrooms, so I'm going to put 4+. And again, if you forget how to do that, hover your mouse over that question mark. It explains that. All right, so in the bottom left-hand corner, I still see I have 118 matches. We are also looking for a private pool for this fictitious buyer, so I'm going to go ahead and put private pool there. And now I see I have 13 matches. Okay. So again, a little bit of review. You can view these matches 2 ways, map and results. Doesn't matter which one you click, map or results up here, map or results down here. They take you to the same place. So if I click on the map, now I see these properties on the map. In a previous Matrix Mondays, we did talk about the map tools. You know, I could, if I only wanted to be on a certain side of the freeway, for example, I could draw that shape there. So go review the map tools, map searching if you need to see that. And then I'm going to go over to results. And I see my 13 matches here on the map. So this is my client's criteria, right? I've got this criteria, and now I want them to get notified whenever there's something new or updated that matches this criteria. Because, for example, right now I had searched active option pending, pending continue to show, and pending, and there's only 4 active. So, you know, this is going to take a little more work. You know, this isn't one of those TV shows where they see 3 properties and find it based on that. This might not work, right? So I want them to get notified whenever there's something new or updated that matches this criteria. So I'll come down here to this button bar, click Save, and then I'll click New Auto Email. Okay. So from here, again, we've gone through this in detail in a previous video, but I'll just kind of follow the steps, put in, you know, the contact that I want to receive it, a subject line for the email they're going to receive. There's the email signature that I told you guys about at the beginning, so it's already in there ready to go. I can review the criteria that I've set up for them. That's the criteria that they're going to be getting notifications based on. And settings and schedule. So on settings, you have concierge mode. Again, we've talked about that in other sessions, but this is going to basically allow me to filter the properties for my clients. So instead of them getting matches for every property that matches their criteria, I'll get a notification that there's a concierge match, and I can approve or reject it, and I'll show you guys that in a little bit. And then I can pick the frequency, everything from ASAP, the system updates every 15 minutes. They could get multiple emails in a day if there's multiple properties that match their criteria. Everything from that fast to monthly, which would be a once a month update, okay? Once I hit save, it's set up. Now, once I've hit save, I've officially set it up, they're gonna start getting emails that look a little something like this. Can you add homes to the same save search on the portal? Do you mean like additional searches? If you could clarify that for me a little bit, Kelly. Okay, so they'll get an email that looks like this, and this is for a different search criteria here, but it says there are one new or updated listing that matches your criteria. Here it is. This property went to option pending, so it's letting me know about it. There's the email signature again, so just make sure you get that set up in your settings because they're going to see that every time. So I can go ahead and click View Listing as the client, and again, I'm looking at it on the client's end at this point. So I'm clicking on the client portal to review this listing that we just got a match for. It went to option pending, so it's letting me know about it, right? So I can go and review that property there, okay? So there's a few things your clients can do. If you notice this heart up here at the top, if I click on that heart, I have the option to save it as a favorite, save it as a possibility, or discard it. If they discard it, they'll no longer get notified about it. So if I just absolutely do not like 123 Main Street and I don't want to be notified about anything involving 123 Main Street, I as a client can come in and discard that listing, okay? Now, if I discard it, it's not gone forever. I can go back and undiscard it. I'll show you guys how to do that in a second. Your client has access to view full photos, so they can go through and see all the photos here. They can even see thumbnail view, so they have a lot of options as far as photos. They can read the public remarks, see the general description, all of the details about the property, schools, that it's zoned to, etc. So they have a lot of information here. They can also, there's a notes section for you and your agent. I'll show you where you can go in and make notes. But your client, maybe they pose questions to you on here. How long has this been on the market, for example? Or they can add that note there. So you would see that note. And again, I showed you guys how to get notified about when they make notes in here. So that you can come back and appropriately respond. Something else that's neat about the notes section, let's say I set it up for my client and it's a married couple, right? And they're both getting notified about this, okay? So they're both getting the emails and they can actually make notes in here to each other. So if I wanted to make a note to my spouse, in here, I could say, what do you think about the living room, or whatever the case is, right? Oh, I love the open floor plan, whatever the case is. So it's a neat place for your client to really have ownership of their search, even though you set it up for them, they didn't set it up. And also, again, a great place for them to communicate with anyone they may be purchasing this property with. So instead of them going offline and sending a text message, hey, go pull up 2704 Merrimack and look at picture number 3, right? No, they can just come in here and make notes, right? So that's really helpful. So I'm going to go back to results so you can kind of see an overview. So these were all the properties that match the criteria. Of this specific search. They can hover over them. They can see price, number of bedrooms and bathrooms. They can click on them and it'll kind of toggle right to it so they can see specific properties. They also have map tools on here, so they can see points of interest. So, and I need to zoom in if you notice. So if I wanted to see, for example, the schools that are nearby, If I want to see, you know, restaurants, healthcare facilities, whatever the case is, they can kind of click on that and see any of that appropriate, you know, information there. So really neat for them to see that kind of stuff in here. They can also start a new search. If you notice here, it says start a new search. So they can go in and put in their own criteria, whatever that may be. So, you know, maybe my agent set this up for me, but I want to go in and I want to look for active single family listings in wherever else, right? So they can put in their own criteria in here as well. So that's really helpful. And again, in the notification settings, I showed you where you can turn on a notification. If my client were to create their own search, I can get notified about that, okay? Then my searches, they're going to actually see my agent's searches and my searches. So if, again, your client creates their own searches, they'll see different ones there. Now, notice it says my agent's searches, plural. So you can actually set up more than one search in the same portal for your client. So let's say maybe I have an investor and they're looking in several different areas or whatever the case is. I can have several different searches running for them, right? And they can just kind of toggle between them here. On favorites, they will see, you know, any properties they marked as a favorite. They'll be able to see them there. Possibilities, if they marked a property as a possibility, they'll be able to see them there. And also the discards. I mentioned earlier that they can discard a property and they'll no longer get notified about it. But on the discarded section here, they can also undiscard. If you see it says undiscarded property there. Excuse me. So if maybe they had discarded a property but then changed their mind about it and they do want to get notified about it again, it's not, like I said, it's not gone forever. They can undiscard it here. Messages, we're going to be able to see the emails I've sent them and also any property notes they or I have made. Okay, so if they've made notes, I've made notes, either way, you'll kind of see a little bubble up here notifying us that there's a new note to view. My agent, so in the My Matrix, My Information section, we looked at the portal profile. That's what this was here. So if you guys remember on, whoops, wrong screen, My Matrix, My Information, we looked at this portal profile just a little bit ago. Whatever you put in this screen here is what is going to appear here in this My Agent section. So there's, you know, my bio that I put in there. There's a video, my information. You would see my listings here. So that's what that My Agent section is. So I encourage you all, again, that was My Matrix, My Information, and then portal profile. I encourage you all to put something in here. You don't want them to click on that and see a blank screen, okay? So that's the My Agent section there, all right? Can they see possibilities from different searches in one place? Yes, so Glenda's asking, you know, if I have a couple searches running for them, and yes, exactly. If they were to favorite a property, market a possibility, they'll see all of them in the same list there. Okay, Anton, I'll review that right before we finish up. I'll review how we got here and set this up. Okay, so that's the client portal. You can see it's pretty easy to use. Now on your end though, again, if you come up to My Matrix settings, go to those portal notification settings, make sure you have it notify you of anything that you think is important that you want to get a push notification about, basically. But also, once I've set this up for my client, after the fact, let's say my client, you know, their criteria changed, or maybe I want to halt the notifications. If you come here, My Matrix, Contacts, you're going to see all the contacts that you have in Matrix, and you'll see all of the ones you have auto emails set up for. If you notice when I hover my mouse over this little button here, it says Active Auto Emails. So let's say I want to manage the auto email that I have set up for this particular contact, okay? So if I click on that client's name and then click auto email, okay, I'm going to see the auto email I have set up for this client. So just a couple things about it. If you notice, BCC, that means yes, I'm being blind carbon copied on anything that comes in through here. The schedule, I have this set up for him to get ASAP. So as we know, he could get multiple emails in a day.
Do I have concierge, the filtering option set up on this one? No, I don't. And when was the last time they visited their portal? Never, because I don't actually know Bob Barker. So again, that's kind of letting you see a little overview there. Now, if I click on the search that I have set up for him, I can review the settings and review the criteria, okay? Those are the two you'll probably use the most. So settings and criteria. So if I click on settings, it's going to be the same screen we saw earlier when we actually set it up. Maybe I have him set up on ASAP, and he says, you know, Christina, I'm getting way too many emails. Can you just send me one a day? Well, I can come in here and change that ASAP to daily, for example. Another option we do have now, though, that we didn't have when we initially set it up, now that it's enabled, I can come in here to disable it. So maybe he goes under contract, and I don't want him to get updates while he's under contract. Instead of just deleting the whole thing and having to start again if the contract falls through, I can come in here to disable it, hit save. He'll stop getting notifications. If, you know, it doesn't work out on that contract, I can come back in here, enable it, hit save again, right? So I can modify those settings there. Also criteria. Maybe I had set up some criteria for him, and then he says, you know what, we really want a one-story home. And that wasn't given in the initial criteria. Well, I could click criteria there, maybe go and say stories 1, right? So I could put in my criteria there and it just hit save. Now, open in portal. So this is going to be your blind carbon copied view of their portal. I showed you the portal on the client's end, but if you notice now, in the top right-hand corner, it says BCC portal for Bob Barker. So this is my blind carbon copied version of his portal. So, for example, if I try to click on the heart to favorite something, it won't let me now because it knows I'm the agent, not the client, okay? But what's great about you having your own kind of BCC'd version, what's great about that is that you could actually click on a property here, and let's say maybe, and you see I actually did one there. For this one, I said not showing until, you know, March 6th. So if I wanted to go in and make notes, or this one has the flooring you like, or whatever the case is, so I can make notes. My client can also make notes. Debbie, that was just one, you know, example of why you could enable disable, but that would be completely up to you on why you decide to use that button or not. Okay, so again, you have your own view of what your client's doing. So again, my searches, I would see the searches I've set up, the searches that my client set up, messages. Again, if my client made notes on a property, I'd be able to see them there. I'd be able to see my client's favorites, possibilities, and discards here as well. So this is my blind carbon copied version of my client's portal, okay? Big things that you could really come in here and do, like I said, is come in, you see something, you know, something pop up, maybe a new listing, right? This one, it tells me it's a new listing. Maybe my client hasn't viewed it yet, but I got BCC'd and I know that it's in here as new. Well, I could come in and put, you know, not showing until whatever, if I saw that in the agent remarks, or all offers must be submitted by, you know, anything that I maybe saw that's a little bit of extra information, or maybe I just want to point something out to them. Oh, this is the open concept that you want, right? Or whatever the case is. So you can make notes, your clients can make notes, and also your clients, if you have multiple clients set up on the same search, you know, a married couple, for example, they could make notes back and forth to each other as well. Okay, so somebody asked me to really quickly review how I did that. So we just went in, we ran a search, then we went to results. Once I put in my criteria, I went to results, I hit save, and it won't let me click it now because I have over 250 matches, but I clicked new auto email, okay? And then from there, I just showed you guys how your client would get an email, they can click to view the listing, and they can see their listings and things like that there and manage everything in their portal there, okay? Several people asked, will this video be posted in full? Yes, it will be. Once we finish, you'll see it in the video section on our Facebook page. And like I mentioned earlier as well, you will see previous Matrix Mondays videos in there too. So there's a full video just about setting up auto email that you can go check out. There's one about running searches in there. There's one about utilizing the map. So there's all kinds of good stuff that you can go review from previous Matrix Mondays videos
on our Facebook page in the video section. All right. Just making sure that I didn't miss any questions. Yeah, Enrique, the text alerts are awesome. I love that you guys can get text alerts in there. One last thing that I didn't mention on the home screen as well. So in addition to those notifications, I do see in this recent portal visitors widget on my home screen of Matrix, I see what client viewed their portal, when they viewed it, and I see their little post-it note, right? So I know that my client made notes on a property. So even if I didn't turn on the email or text notifications, I can get notified there. With Concierge, you do get an email notification if, and again, that's the option that allows you to filter for your client. You do get an email notification letting you know that there's a match for your client. So in this case, I do see there's 3 listings that need my approval for this client here. So if I click on that, I can kind of review those listings, reject them if I don't want my client to receive it, or approve them and they'll receive it. And the process from after that, would be, you know, the same as it was for any other auto email. I'm sorry, Tammy, if I went too fast. I just went to the home screen of Matrix. So when you first log in, this is the home screen that you see. And then on the right-hand side here, you won't see Concierge. By the way, if you're looking for it on your screen, you won't see that unless you've already set one of these up and there's a match. But recent portal visitors will be there, and again, you'll see updates in here as well. Oh, it looks like somebody lost our signal, but we are still on. Okay. If we do that, new properties come to the market after. Yes, they will. So if you were to disable the auto email, okay, good. I'm glad you got back on, Dooney. If you were to disable the auto email and there are updates in the time period that it is disabled, however long that will be, they will see whatever's come on the market new or anything like that once you re-enable it. Yeah, so great question there, Anton. All right, so that is about it. I'm going to put my client portal back up since that was kind of our topic and theme today. So I'm putting that back up so you guys can see my email address up there. That isn't actually my cell number, by the way. That's HAR's main office number, but that's always a good number to keep on hand if you want to jot that down. But my email address where you can reach me directly is right there as well. Tammy asked, where do you go to add notes so your client can see the notes? Okay, so that we did by going into My Matrix, Contacts. I clicked on the contact that I set up the auto email for, and I can open their portal right there. And then from there, I would just click on, you know, a property, whichever property, and I can add notes there. Yeah, so it was actually in the client portal, but to access it, Tammy, we just went to My Matrix, Contacts, and then I just accessed my client's portal there, okay? So I'm putting my information back up again. If you want to jot down my email address, well, I guess I can't say you're welcome because you didn't really thank me. Anyway, so if you have suggestions for future Matrix Mondays videos that you'd like to see, please shoot them my way. I'm looking for suggestions and new topics and things like that. So if you have any of those, please send them my way. Email me. I'm happy to take all of your suggestions. Thank you guys for reaching out and messaging and all of that stuff. We had some great conversation throughout this session. Again, please feel free to reach out after today. 2 really quick questions that I see popped up while I was closing out. When you use the client portal versus the branded app. So you're welcome to use either, really. The client portal versus the HAR branded app. The client portal, it is a little different. It looks different. It's managed differently. The branded app, you can also use that. They're both great products. They just, you know, they're just 2 different products, basically. How do we disable searches? Again, when we went to access, again, My Matrix Contacts, I access the client's auto email, click on the client, go to settings, and if you were wanting to disable instead of delete, you could disable there. Yeah. And you're welcome, Tammy. A CMA one. Yes, I actually have had a couple questions about CMA. Okay, so a couple people are saying CMA. So it sounds like we're going to be doing CMA soon. All right, so thank you again. Again, my email is on the screen, and you will see this video in our video section on our Facebook page right after we finish. Thank you guys for joining. I hope you all have a great week and happy Monday.